lies. It was just
bullshit. What's the difference?
It wasn't lies. It was
just bullshit. The proper way to say it. No lies, just bullshit. The proper way to say it. No lies, just bullshit. The proper way to say it. No lies, just bullshit. The proper way to say it. No lies, just bullshit.
Who said liar? I said bullshit artist. And what's the difference? Because I don't lie.
Hello and welcome to No Lies, Just Bullshit. I'm your host, Nick Swartz. Thank you for tuning in once again to the greatest show on earth. Hope everybody's doing well. We're coming off a lot of snow and ice up here in the mountains, man. It's like, I don't know, Friday a week ago. Not last Friday, but the prior. We got about 4 inches of snow and about 6 or 7 inches of ice on top of it. And it's just been a nightmare trying to get everybody moving around. My kids missed school for 5 days straight, and then today was a 2-hour delay. But a lot of the school buses even today had a lot of problems. When you live out in the country like that, you know, sometimes like back in Naked Creek and Jolliet Holler and Steam Holler and all these places sort of that are deep in the mountains, it hadn't got above 15 degrees in, 11, 12 days. And that don't make it easy to move around at all. Of course, if you ever lived where there's weather, ice you can't do nothing with. Snow's one thing, but ice is a different animal. So just been dealing and adapting. Got the shop open after 2 days and been going as best we can. Today we're getting some good melts up to 38 degrees out there, which is exciting. But anyhow, you all didn't tune in for the weather. Before I get into this week's episode, of course, I'm going to mention AllianceTattooSupply.com. That's where you go to get everything you need to run your tattoo shop. Fred and Josh over there, solid guys, tattooers, shop owners, and friends of ours. They support No Lies Just Bullshit. They support Alley Cat Tattoo, and we strongly urge you to support them. They're out of Richmond. They're always expanding. You can get machines, power supplies, ink caps. You can get inks. You can get table drapes. You can get Thermofax paper. You name it, they have it, and it's all quality products. They source the best stuff that they can, and they give it to you at the best price they can. You don't really get no better than that. And there's a movement to sort of keep corporate out of tattooing, and I support that, and I think it's the way to go. I don't fucking recommend buying anything on Amazon. I'm not the authority, and I'm not saying this to get any attention or to tell anybody what to do. I'm just saying that my idea of it is support supply companies that support tattooers. And these guys do that. They're shop owners. They employ tattooers. They support their art shows. They support our art shows. They support my guys. And that's who I think you should spend your money with. And that's just my opinion. Everyone's going to do what the fuck they want to do, The other day, a guy came in off the street and he said, "Hey, I got this tattoo kit. Somebody owed me some money. And they gave me this in exchange for it. Is anybody interested here in buying it?" So I said, "Let me take a look at it." And it's like these machines are called Dragon Hawk machines. They're aluminum. They're super lightweight. They are what they are. And I was like, "Nah, man, I don't think anybody here is interested in that." And there was some needles, and there was some ink, and there was some Thermofax, like snippets of Thermofax paper, and like 2 tubes, 2 grips. And the guy was like, "It's not worth $20 to you?" And I was like, "Yeah, it's worth $20 just to keep it off the street." So I gave him $20 and I put it in a cabinet. But, I just feel like there's a right and a wrong way to handle things. And I think supporting a company like Alliance is the right thing to do. So that's where I stand on that. I'm not trying to get soapboxy or anything like that. And for a guy who's not political, I think that every single thing we do, we can vote with our money. You know what I mean? And so when you back a tattooer-owned company, when you back, someone who backs tattooing, then you're sort of choosing them over that corporate entity that could give a fuck about tattoos, that just want to sort of take advantage of the popularity. So there you go. AllianceTattooSupply.com. Great guys. Go see them. Talk to them. They'll take care of you every single time. What else we got popping? So I just launched the Instagram page for the Shenandoah Rose. If you haven't heard, Shenandoah Rose is a tattoo festival, convention, mini thing, whatever you want to call it, that we're going to have right here at Alley Cat Tattoo. And we're doing it sort of around the same time to celebrate 25 years of Alley Cat Tattoo as a shop. Pagoda has ended, and we're trying to fill that slot. So it's going to be August 7th, 8th, and 9th here at Alley Cat Tattoo. And your favorite tattooers in the world are going to be here. And I've been I've been announcing one every week, and let me see who I got this week. Jimmy P from Florida is coming up. He's going to be tattooing here. And Jimmy is one of the guys who love Jimmy Perlman. He is the homie. He's done some epic episodes of No Lies Just Bullshit. And he's one of these guys that he loves this thing of ours as much, if not more, than anybody I know. Like, I put him up there with Schweigert as far as like really, really loving tattoos and loving the entity that is tattoo, the magic that is tattoo. And, I strongly urge, man, I've got a lot of great episodes, and this is about to be another one. Go listen to the first Jimmy P episode of No Lies Just Bullshit, man. And there's another one he did with Angelo. I think it's just one, might be two with Ange. Anyway, the first one we did, man, it was like a fast-paced game of ping pong. It was so much fun, man. And we're from the same era. We're similar in age. And we came up seeing the same things and understanding it from a point of view that is very 90s and very tattoo. And Jimmy's great. He's going to be here at Shenandoah Rose. And that's hard to beat. So, if you don't know him, check him out. I mean, I guess that's it for right now. Please go over. It's called The Shenandoah Rose on Instagram. That's the name of the convention. Andrew put out a show flyer, and so I started a page. And what I'm going to do is in the coming weeks, I'll be adding a post about tattooers that are going to be visiting for that convention. I'm hoping, and when you see the list of people, I'm hoping that's going to draw tattooers and tattoo lovers and collectors from all over the East Coast and further, hopefully. I'm just excited for it, you know what I mean? It's definitely for the public as well. It's for anybody who wants to attend to get tattooed and stuff. It's just going to be, man, it's going to be some of the greatest tattooers in the game. And it's going to be just full of camaraderie and fun. And, when we had our 20th anniversary, it was during COVID. And it was near the tail end. And it was warm outside. And we were okay. We tried to limit people in the building. Ended up being a great event. But this is going to be, of course, wide open. And I'm excited about it. And I hope you'll support. Go hop on the Shenandoah Rose Instagram page and share that page and try to beef up the followers for me. I'd greatly appreciate it. All right, speaking of beefing up, my man Scott Sterling is one of the beefiest in the game. He's been on No Lies Just Bullshit at least 6 times, and maybe sat in on other people's. And this is another one of our sort of greatest hits or look back on some of the greater conversations that I've had with Scott. And one of the main reasons we're doing that right now is that Scott is putting out a book. And you can go to tribalbooks.net. You can go to Tribal Books on Instagram and then hit the link, and you can get your copy now. And Scott is just a treasure for us to have in the tattoo world. He is, and this book is not, Scott's a legendary machine builder. And he's been doing that for a very long time. And him and Malone built machines together and a lot of other greats. But this isn't just that. This is his whole life. This is Scott as an individual. This is Scott in tattooing. This is Scott as a machine builder. And this story's been told before, man. But before No Lies Just Bullshit, he just came here one day. Him and Tony Riccio of Saltwater Tattoo, they just came to the shop one day. And I'm on the side of the building grilling chicken. And I was already just cooking that day for whatever reason, and just to feed the crew, I guess. And he just rolled up and started talking to me, and he was like, asked to see my back piece, and I asked to see his back piece, and we're just standing on the side of the building showing off tattoos and talking about our experiences. And he said, this is one of the best kept secrets in tattooing, this shop. It's so amazing. Andrew Connor, Chris Porter, all this amazing flash, because we have a huge flash collection, a ton of hand-painted stuff, a ton of originals. And, I said, damn, this is not supposed to be a secret, man. This is supposed to be, like everybody, we're not hiding over here. And it was a big catalyst that helped me decide to do No Lies Just Bullshit. It really was. It was something that, it's not supposed to be a secret. And my guys work hard. And so it's cool to meet Scott in that manner and him be so generous and open with information and just a fun guy to talk to. He's been my friend for many, many years. And so please check out his book. Please get yourself a copy. This is Scott Sterling's greatest hits on No Lies Just Bullshit.
I'm a tank above and round. I'm a tank above and round. I can make good honey, let me come inside.
So Scott's been tattooing 35 years, and he showed up here at our shop and introduced himself and said, "I'm Scott Sterling, and what's your name?" And and so we sparked a friendship through tattooing, and I just think it's wonderful that you still do that, and you do. I know you do it frequently. You travel all over, just going to new shops.
Yeah, a little bit, not that much. I mean, I go to more shops outside of where I'm at. I go to very few shops in Virginia Beach where I'm working, and it's always been that way pretty much wherever although when I started in San Francisco, I was going to a lot of shops there, but that was before I started tattooing and shit.
Yeah.
So, is it okay to swear on this?
We encourage foul language. Yeah. Fuck. Yeah.
Just be you.
Absolutely.
Whatever comes out.
A lot of swearing.
Okay.
So so let's talk about San Francisco a little bit. When you were there traveling, going around shop to shop, were the people at this shop interested in what the people at that shop were doing, or were worlds completely separate?
Pretty much, yeah. Everybody got along there pretty much. The guy that nobody associated with a real lot was Pat Martinook. Patrick was just like doing like what Patrick does, like traditional style tattoos, more or less in Patrick's style. And, like Patrick never associated with a lot of people. But Lyle always had great things to say about Patrick. Lyle would always say, I wish when they quit or left my place that they would just be dead, or just, fall off the face of the earth or something. But he always had real good things to say about Patrick. I'm sure Patrick made him a shitload of money.
Sure.
That guy had to be just working his ass off, just the amount of flash he produced, too.
Yeah, no shit.
Oh.
Yeah.
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 Like, gotta constantly be paid.
Mm-hmm.
How long were you getting tattooed before you started tattooing?
Oh, geez, probably started getting tattooed in 77. I didn't do a tattoo till 82, so I guess 5 years.
Yeah. And for those who don't know, you have some beautiful, large work from Ed Hardy. Were you getting that stuff before you were tattooing?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. I was covered down the middle of my thigh before I ever did a tattoo.
Gosh.
And I had a pretty good chunk of stuff on my legs, before I ever started tattooing.
What were you doing at that time for money?
When I first started getting tattooed?
No.
Well, when I first started getting tattooed, I was going to Mexico and buying stones, like Mexican fire agate, bringing it up to the States and selling it.
Cool. Yeah.
And that's, how, that's what I was doing then. And then after that, I was selling drugs.
Yeah.
And, selling drugs to all these tattooers in San Francisco.
Yeah, that's always been a thing. Unfortunately, those tattoo business and drugs kind of go hand in hand. And sometimes good, sometimes bad.
Not so much anymore, it doesn't seem like.
Well, it's not as rogue in general anymore. I mean, it's
Right.
not all about tough guys and bikers. And I guess in San Francisco, it probably wasn't all about that either, even at that time.
Right.
And the reason I asked if people were sort of interested in what other people were doing is because tattooing is regional in a lot of ways, and sometimes people are stoked to tell you who's tattooing at the next shop, and you should go look at their stuff.
Right.
And in other towns, and Andrew and I coming from Roanoke, Roanoke was not like that at all.
Right.
When we were coming up, it's just like, you work for him, fuck you. You know what I mean? You're on that side of the street, we're over here. Don't fucking talk to us. And it was. And so I was just curious of what it's like. So you say you don't move around Virginia Beach very much. Is it have that attitude?
No, not there really. And I do go around to shops there.
Yeah.
But
You probably know
should
that.
I probably? Well, no, I don't. I know. No, I don't know everybody there, but I get along with everybody there, and everybody's there's some real good tattooers in Virginia Beach doing all different kinds of styles of stuff.
To me, man, that's what it should be about. Is that if you're putting out good tattoos, then we're on the same page.
Yeah.
Right.
Now, I might once it gets deeper, if we spend time together and I don't like you, then I might not like you. But for tattooing's sake, if someone else, even if it's your competition, if they're doing the right thing, then that's good for business.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And that's good for the industry, and that's what I care about.
Mm-hmm.
What I think is shitty is the people who just pump out apprentice after apprentice because it makes them feel important to be able to tell somebody what to do, shit like that.
Right.
That's what really sort of gets on my nerves about the industry. But when people are doing the right thing for tattooing,
Oh, it makes it better for everybody.
Oh, yeah.
100%.
Yeah, without a doubt.
100%. So, you still do a lot of conventions?
I do like maybe 3 a year.
3? So you don't do a lot of conventions?
No, I guess not. I go to Richmond because it's real close, and I go to Rochester because it's cool up there. It's like it's a great convention.
That seems to be everyone's favorite convention.
Yeah, real people, real good tattooers, just people there, doing real good tattoos. And not a lot of bullshit, not a lot of loud music, not a lot of contests and crap like that. So it's
I heard
it's
that.
a real good one, man.
Real tattooers making real tattoos.
Yeah,
that's
shit.
What it's all about.
And some of the world-class tattooers there, too. I think at least,
I think so,
I mean,
too.
definitely some of the best talent on the East Coast at that one.
No question. Of course, I know Brian goes every year, and the crew of guys from Absolute Art, Jeremy Swed, who's a fucking great tattooer, he's up there every year. But those guys talk about it, Keith, like it's the place for tattooers. Like it's the best thing going. Like I've been told for the last 5-6 years, you have to come to this joint. You just have to come and spend some time.
Right. Yeah, you dig it. You dig the shit out of it. I mean, all those people that are up there pretty much. And,
yeah, I might try to get up there this year.
It's a good city. And it's a fucking tattoo city. Like, folks come in, they want to get something cool, And,
Well, I'm from Syracuse, like 60, 70 miles away, and I would have never thought they'd have a convention like that. Like last time that I was in Rochester, I guess, it was a long time ago too, probably before I started tattooing, or maybe I wasn't tattooing for very long. Then I probably was tattooing then, but it was early 80s, and there was only 2 shops in Rochester then. And Sailor Barney's kid, Fred, had one of the shops, and I don't know if you know much about Barney and Fred, but they're just they're not great tattooers, but Barney has made a shitload of money tattooing. I was at a convention, my first convention in Sacramento, and there's a whole bunch of people out to dinner, and somebody asked Huck Spalding who he thought had made the most money in tattooing, and Huck just immediately said Sailor Barney.
No shit.
Yeah, no shit.
Wow, for Huck to say that, goddamn.
Yeah, I mean, fucking Huck would know, right?
Sure, yeah.
Yep.
Well, he was making the money, too.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, Huck was.
Yeah.
You betcha. Well, at that time, not really, that was like late 70s, and
Sure.
so we hadn't really hit it real big then, but, he was doing okay, I guess.
Yeah.
Do you think their heyday was in the 80s more so? Or in the early 90s?
Early 90s, yeah, without a doubt. Yeah, they used to be UPS's largest account in New York State.
No shit.
that?
Yep. Can you imagine that? A tattoo supply business being the largest UPS account in the state?
God
That's,
damn.
but early 90s, man,
It was booming.
tattooing exploded. I mean, I knew you guys, when I say you guys, I mean the people that worked at Ancient Art on 220. Did you ever go to that shop when Danny had it?
I had.
Yeah. That's where I got my first tattoos.
There was a little white building there. Yeah,
That's right on the side of the road. Yeah, sort of out of town a little bit. But, in 94, 95, all my friends that were in it, you guys were fucking making $1,000 each a week.
Oh, yeah.
And none of you have been tattooing that long.
Nope.
I would show up there, they opened at noon.
Mm-hmm.
I would be there at 11:15 because I had an hour drive, and there'd be 15 people waiting in front of me. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I mean, so the 90s,
It was a boom.
it was a big boom in tattooing. A lot of people made a lot of money.
Right. Yeah, I think that's when tattoo business was the busiest.
Yeah.
Because supply hadn't caught up with demand.
Yeah.
Now the supply is way over
It's
demand.
way, yeah.
Everybody says, all these people getting tattooed, you must be getting rich and shit. Well, it ain't that case anymore. I mean,
Yeah.
not for me. It's not.
I mean, you can almost, I got a point now where if you see someone that's heavily tattooed, you can bet they're tattooing almost. You know what I mean? If you see someone that's covered,
now?
yeah. It seems
Nah,
like,
man. Nah, I mean, I see an awful lot of people that aren't tattooing that are covered.
I mean, I'm glad to see
I mean,
that.
the kid
But,
bagging my fucking groceries has got more visible tattoos on him than I do.
yeah.
He's got stuff on his hands, his neck, and everything,
Yeah, that's where they start nowadays, Scott. I don't know. That's the
In between.
That's the new thing. Is they start, they do from their knuckles to their wrist, and then they do from the collarbone to their ear. You know what I mean? That's how that goes. I don't know if I've told this on the podcast or not. I don't think I have. I was about to get my neck done. I wanted to get I've been talking about it. I have an appointment. Andrew was going to do some lettering on my neck, and this was in 99 maybe. My wife at the time did not want me to do it, my first wife. And Grizz, who he owned part of Alley Cat in the beginning. He owned a shop in Roanoke called Skin Throws, old biker fella. Do you know Grizz?
No, but I heard you talk about him.
Yeah. He's somebody that he's been around a long time. He had a bunch of Bob Shaw tattoos and cool stories. All the picture machine stuff that's in Alley Cat came from his shop in Houston.
Right.
And he really did not want me to get my neck tattooed. And he was heavily tattooed, but it stopped at his wrist, just like yours.
Right.
And he just, Nick, I don't think you should do that. You're too young. I don't want you doing that. Why don't we all get together and we'll have dinner? And we'll just talk about it. And it was he and his wife's anniversary, and me and my wife were going to go along and just have a meal with them, you know? I said, what time you guys want to meet? No, we'll meet at 6:30 downtown at Awful Arthur's. Well, Andrew was tattooing at a shop about 3 blocks from there. I said, you got time around 4? Sure, man, come on down. So I went and got the tattoo and then went to the dinner where we were going to discuss me not getting the tattoo on my neck. My wife was not pleased. Grizz thought it was fucking hilarious. Oh, hell, boy, let's go get a shot. Fuck it. But yeah, he doesn't. I've reached out to Grizz recently. I'm going to try to get him to do one of these.
Oh, you should. That guy's got some crazy fucking stories. He does. Stories from like Sturgis in the 80s and
sure.
stuff.
Well, just Bob Shaw stuff.
I don't think so.
I don't think so. I think if somebody wanted to get some souvenir type tattoo, he might do it.
Yeah.
But he does not tattoo in the shop anymore.
And you say Bob, he's got tattoos, a lot of tattoos on him by Bob Shaw.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
And he was out in California getting
No, I think he was in Houston.
It was in Houston, yeah.
In Houston.
Yeah.
Bob or Larry?
Bob.
I think Bob or Bobby, maybe.
No, I think Bob.
Was it? I don't recall.
He's definitely shown me pictures of like Goldie and Bob together in Houston. Now he might have just been visiting. I don't know where he lived, but he's got amazing tattoos. Really cool shit. I'll try to get some pictures of him. But so I had another question about you. So you said you were done down to like your knees.
Yeah,
when,
like Japanese bodysuit.
By Ed.
Yep.
So how did you find him, and what was it like getting tattooed? Like, was there a regimen? Like, I'll get tattooed once every month, or like how did all that sort of transpire back then?
Well, I found out about Ed because I was getting tattooed by Walt Daly up in Spokane, Washington, and that was like right when I started getting I got my 3rd tattoo from him. And that was my 3rd one in 3 weeks. Like I was just gonna get one tattoo, and I got another one, and then I had about 3 or 4 tattoos on me when I decided I was gonna get covered.
So you tattooed at China Sea?
Yeah.
For how long?
I was there for about 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
Tiny little spot.
Oh yeah. You been in that shop?
I haven't.
Oh Jesus Christ! The shop's not much bigger than this room. No, I'm serious.
And you had Malone in there as well.
Yeah,
Which makes it much smaller.
No shit. I mean, the space we're working in, the two of us, it wasn't as wide across as this room. And plus there was a sink on this side, a sink on that side, just like a little fire sink and shit. And it seemed like half the time Malone's sitting on my goddamn lap while I'm there.
And it was just the two of you tattooing for the time, the duration that you tattooed there? Other than like people coming and going, maybe?
Well, Candy tattooed there a little bit.
Uh-huh.
And when I first got there, I got over there because I took Candy's job. Okay. She was going on a trip around the world and shit. And, she just told Malone to give her job away. That she didn't know when she was going to come back. And then she came back kind of like prematurely. And so she worked in there a little bit. And then Doug Hardy came and worked and started there.
Okay.
And, and that's kind of...
So did you know Malone before then?
Oh, yeah.
Like when you said she said just give my job to the next guy. Were you just the next guy on the list? Just call you up?
Oh, no, fuck no. I was not the next guy on the list, believe me.
Well, how did you end up getting that call?
Well, I was at a convention in Dallas, and, I'd known Malone before that. I knew him, kind of through Hardy and like that. I met him in San Francisco, probably before I started getting tattooed. And then, met him on the Queen Mary, but, he didn't know who I was except for the tattoo I got on me and like that.
Sure.
And I was working for Sailor Moses in Mississippi, and I
love that dude.
Yeah, Moses was a great guy. And I was going out to the West Coast, riding my motorcycle out there, and I called up Malone before I was going because he was in Austin, Texas, kind of like right on the way. And I'm talking to him on the phone. I says, I want to come by and just like say hey and like that. And at first he said, yeah, sure, whatever, And then he says, "Are you the guy that's got that back piece from Hardy?" And I go, "Yeah." And he goes, "Oh yeah, sure, come by. You can stay at the shop."
That changes
No,
everything.
yeah,
That changes
yeah, it changes immediately. Because I don't know, Malone was kind of like a gruff kind of guy in certain respects. But yeah, I knew him from there. So anyways, I'm at this convention in Dallas, and me, Dave Gibson, and Moses went all over there all together. And me and Gibson on the way over were talking about, if we could go anywhere to work, where would it be? And both me and Gibson said China Sea. Right. And I was at that convention, and I just got him alone before Gibson did.
Yeah.
And I asked Rollo, "Hey, what's happening and shit?"
Yeah.
And he goes, "Well, Candy's leaving. I got to find somebody to work." And I said, "Well, shit, man, I'd come over there in a heartbeat."
Yeah.
And he says, "Well, I'll get a hold of you after the convention and like that." And I didn't think, I thought he was just blowing me off and shit.
Right.
But, he called me up, and I went over there for a couple weeks, just check it out,
That's
make sure
awesome.
that, he could hang out, that he could stand being around me, and I could stand being around him
Sure.
and shit.
Yeah.
And that I would like it over there. And, came back, packed up my shit, and went over.
That's
Going.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Was Gibson in San Diego at the time?
No, he was working in Biloxi with me and Moses.
Oh yeah,
Uh-huh.
at California.
Yep, California Tattoo.
That's awesome.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
You heal a lot of people with tattoos, and
Sure.
it's kind of like, really it's like being a shaman and all that, but still, you're just putting fucking pictures on
You're just drawing
people,
something,
and, it's not like you're fucking curing cancer, you're not feeding the world, you're not,
Yeah.
doing all of that shit.
Some stuff is
And then
therapeutic for
people,
people.
there ain't a fucking, convention hall big enough to hold all the fucking egos of all these fucking cocksuckers that are in there, and they'll be in there, fucking patting each other on the back and doing all this shit, and then it takes a month for them to fucking get enough mouthwash in them to get all the fucking shit taste out of their mouth for what they're doing.
We just talked to John Henry a couple of days ago, man. And he said, I never got good till I worked with Josh Arnett, and he ripped me up. He
Right.
said, why you draw it that way? It looks like shit. Draw it like this. Here's
Right.
10 books that'll give you examples of good shit.
Right.
Don't be afraid to put that book out when you're tattooing.
Right.
All those things.
Right.
But if you expect to get better, and you correct me if I'm wrong, if you expect to get better, you need to be around tattooers that are better than you.
Right, yeah, I always try to do that. Be around, the best people I could be around, and maybe just a little bit of that to rub off on me.
Absolutely. Because you can see them execute.
Right.
If you're watching them sketch it, and then watching them line it, and then watching
Right.
them tattoo it,
Uh-huh.
you might pick up a little
Right.
something.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah.
And nobody learns by doing good. People learn by mistakes,
Sure.
And the ones that are really fucked up are the ones that ain't learning by their mistakes,
Absolutely.
And the worst fucking tattooer is the guy, that thinks he can draw real good, but he can't, and then you got a big fucking problem, because he thinks he already knows it all.
Yeah.
And he thinks he's real good at it, and maybe he ain't so good at it, but he's got them customers telling him how good he is, but
And you don't
Just
need to reinvent the rose either.
yeah, no shit.
You look at a Malone rose,
Right,
and you do that. If you can do that with your blindfolded,
right,
then maybe try a new style rose.
right,
But that rose is as good as it gets,
right,
and that's what every tattooer needs to know how to do. That's just how I feel about it. Same kid who asked me to critique his Instagram. He was like, he did this time machine thing, and he changed it, and I was like, why'd you change it?
right, yep,
The time machine was good enough. It was perfect.
right,
Didn't need to change. He's like, yeah, but I thought it'd be interesting to make one of the roses negative. I was like, you're wrong. Nothing
Right.
interesting about that.
or I want to do it my fucking style, and your style ain't as good as something, you can just fucking pick off the wall or whatever, and just because it's yours, well, that's all fine and dandy, but you can put something maybe better on somebody else, copying it, I mean, all tattooers do basically is copy fucking shit.
Sure.
And, no matter what they're copying, there's not really, very rarely do I see an original kind of thought or original thing with tattooing. I mean, I do see it, and, and I see shit that's like, real far out or, like that, but very rarely do I see something that I think is totally fucking original kind of thing.
Yeah, it's
I see
mostly
people,
recycled.
yeah, recycled, in
is
one way
fine.
or another. And is it recycled? Sure, everybody's improving on it,
Hopefully.
hopefully, yeah.
But we know we just did a shop talk not too long ago about just eagles.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're going to start doing stuff where we pick a theme.
Uh-huh.
And, you know, I tell people all the time, owls are great, but why get an owl when you can get an eagle? You know, they're just better.
Right.
And,
right.
you know, some things are powerful and they're timeless.
Right.
Eagles, roses, panthers,
Right.
you know, dragons, daggers. There's certain things that there's a reason people were getting them at the turn of the century, and there's a reason they're still getting them.
Right.
Because they're strong.
Yeah. It makes a big statement.
And that's what I love. And also with lettering, I tell folks all the time, you can get a paragraph tattooed on you, but why not get a word that as soon as you read it, you convey the feeling. Love, love, hate, hope, faith, whatever, fuck you, whatever you want, to where it's just straight to the point. I think lettering is more powerful in that way.
Right, and you also get all that fucking lettering. You can't fucking read it. It jumbles up.
Well, who's gonna stop?
And who's gonna stop and look at the fucking thing and read it? You know.
When I go to the beach, I'm not gonna stop some chick and read from her armpit to her hip. I'm not,
no shit.
You know, I'm just not interested. I'm sure it's something thought provoking and fucking groundbreaking.
Yeah,
but I'm not gonna read it.
You know, it is for them. You know, and it is. You know, I'll put it on them if that's what they fucking want. You know.
Sure, that's okay. But what I try to convey is that there's an easier way.
Yeah, no
to
shit.
Get those points across.
Right, no shit. And, you know, you don't have to write out the fucking whole psalm and like that. You can just put down Psalms 13 and you know what it means. Yeah. And the people that care about it, they know what that means.
Sure. Or if they do, if they really care, they'll ask you. What's
they'll ask you and you can fucking tell them. And you can tell them, hey, you know, why I got this or whatever. It's just a lot simpler ways to do stuff that are going to... You know, I mean, really, you know, we ain't writing books. We're making pictures, and, you know, you can put a fucking, like, you put a fucking panther on somebody that covers their fucking back or their arm, and, you know, that makes a motherfucking statement, you know, for sure. I mean, I look at your back, and fuck, that makes a motherfucking statement, man.
You know, just real quick to touch on Pinky, people don't come in the door asking for Pinky, but if a motherfucker walks in the door and says they want a tiger,
you can show them Pinky tiger.
Pinky. Yeah. Let's go look at some fucking tigers.
Right.
You know what I mean, those things are powerful.
Right.
So good, man. So good. I love his shit. And he's got those chicks. The chick with the kitsune. The chick with the skeleton. The chick in the peony. Man, those are all fantastic. I think there's one with a peacock. Man, they're just so fucking strong. I love that shit so much.
But yeah, Jerry would have just been like a, you know, just a very small footnote.
Like you said, he's out in the middle of fucking nowhere.
Right.
He's just and like you said, unless these guys shine a light on him, no one would have the opportunity to know his stuff and see his work.
Right. Like I mean, you just get people like, you know, fucking Colonel Todd. You know who Todd was?
Yeah.
I mean, you go downstairs, and you know there's going to be less than 5% of those people that know who Todd was.
Yeah.
And, you know, fucking Todd was a fucking great tattooer, great technician. I never saw anybody that could fucking, you know, put one on as good as Todd. Maybe not the best artist in the world, but you know, he taught Bob Roberts, he taught Phil Sims, he taught a whole lot of people, you know, that are real good tattooers.
Yeah.
Dave
made big impacts.
Yeah, he made a big impact on this business. When I was working at Cliff Ravens, this guy comes in with this fucking spider web that went from just below his waist up to his armpit, and it was fucking black, solid fucking black.
Yeah.
And, you know, I don't know how long it took him to do that, but, you know, Colonel Todd would say 45 minutes.
Damn.
Yeah. You know, and I'm sure it took longer than that. But, you know, it was just a fucking immaculate, beautiful fucking tattoo. And everything I ever saw that Todd did was real spot on. I mean, you know, once he got with Shaw and with Grimm, you know, I'm sure those guys really changed things for him.
Sure.
And, you know, Grimm and, you know, Todd and Bob Shaw, they opened up a lot of shops together. And there was one shop, I don't know if it was the Hollywood Boulevard shop or which one it was, but they went in there and they painted the whole fucking shop, the walls in the shop, all the flash in one weekend. One guy outline, one guy black shade, one guy color.
And just,
you know, and you could imagine, you know, doing like, I don't know, 150, maybe more sheets in a fucking weekend. You know, that's like fucking legendary shit, man.
But they couldn't fucking go buy a set of flash.
Right, yeah,
You know?
you couldn't buy flash.
You couldn't buy a set of flash. The motherfucker said, okay, if we're going to open the doors, we got to have something to sell.
Right.
Let's fucking bang it out. You know? That's what you had to do. That was their livelihood depended on this shit back then. Nobody was going to swing by with some fucking prints.
Here, I got this.
You know?
Right.
People weren't knocking on your door going, hey, you know, I got these things. It just didn't happen that way.
Back then, you couldn't even get black and white flash from Huck.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, the Zeiss stuff was available, but that was like pretty much like fucking bullshit. And I don't know. Well, the Waters blueprint designs were out, you know, but that was like even outdated kind of for that kind of era and like that.
But plus, these guys are capable.
Oh yeah.
So therefore, they're not depending on a catalog.
Right.
They're going, well, you know, this is what I do. This is my craft.
Right.
So I don't need that shit. I'll fucking draw it and paint it and put it up. You know.
And
that's
probably
the way
most of that stuff was probably off of acetates that, you know,
Sure.
they'd been done before, and you just fucking put a little charcoal on that acetate, fucking put it on, fucking take it off, go over it with a pen.
Yeah.
You got your outline, give it to fucking next guy, and probably I imagine how it went was probably, you know, Bob was outlining, Todd was black shading, Grim was coloring, maybe Grim was coloring. Grim, like towards the end of the year, he got in, at the end of his career, he got into doing like a lot of different colors, you know, and he should have just stayed with red, green, blue, and yellow. That was his best forte.
Yeah.
You know, when he started putting, you know, all these other colors into it, he kind of... But, you know, he was fucking, you know, Grim tattooed right up until the end, pretty much. He loved to fucking tattoo.
How old was he when he died, do you know?
He was about 89, I think.
Yeah. You know, you mentioned you might go downstairs and nobody knows who Colonel Todd is or nobody knows who this person that is. That's why, you know, this is important. This conversation is important.
Right.
You telling these stories, you have these stories. The next motherfucker ain't got these stories.
Right.
And so, you know, I'm flattered that you want to sit down and bullshit with me and tell me about it, man. It's important to me. It's important to the culture, in my opinion.
Well, yeah, and a lot of the shit, you know, when I'd go down and see Paul, you know, I wasn't going down to see, like, if I fucking knew then what I know now, you know, I was just going down there to fucking kind of hang out with Paul, help him with machines, trying to learn about machines, you know, and shit like that. And we go, you know, Paul's typical day is you get up early in the morning, you have shredded wheat and bananas for breakfast, you go out in the shed and you work till maybe noon or 1 o'clock in that little shed, you know, in Florida, get like, you know, pretty unbearable to fucking working then. And then, you know, you come in, you go to lunch, and Paul would always take you out to like the buffet at like a Ponderosa place, you know, get the salad buffet and shit. And then you'd go back to his house, and, you know, he'd talk stories and show you maybe old machines that he had kept in the house, you know, like old Coleman machines, real fucking, you know, monumental, historic fucking stuff, you know, that I wasn't knowledgeable enough to absorb what I was looking at. You know, now when I see a machine, you know, no matter if it's a modern machine that one of these guys downstairs has got, or, you know, it's an old fucking Coleman machine or an old Rogers machine, I'll look at that and I can see what they were doing, you know, and some real fucking unique shit that, you know, I mean, Paul was real good at making anything work. You know, you give him anything and he'd make it work. And Coleman too. Yeah, because Crow's real cool to talk to. Like lots of times, you know, I'll spend after work an hour or two just to listen to fucking Crow talk.
Yeah, man.
Because it's cool.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you know, and if I don't get that fucking kind of shit, got room for one more fucking story?
Fuck yeah, dude.
Okay.
Let's do it.
Okay. Now, the Crow's got this shop, and it's down in St. Thomas. You know, him and Charlie and Malone were going to open up a shop together down there. Well, they went down there, and Crow, maybe just Crow and Charlie went down. Maybe, I don't know if Malone, Charlie Cartwright.
Okay.
And anyways, they got Signatera poisoning from eating some fucking fish, and Crow just got it just a little bit, but Charlie got real fucking sick, and sick for a long fucking time from that shit.
Yeah.
You know, so anyways, Crow opens up a shop down there, and he gets this kid that I used to work with in at Sunset Strip in Hollywood. So he gets this kid to go down there and watch the shop. Well, you know, it's okay for a little while, and the kids send him back money, and then, you know, no money's coming back and shit. So he sends somebody down there to see what the fuck is happening. And there's a sign on the door, I'm at the nude beach, if you want a tattoo, you come by. I'm the guy with the fucking tattoos on me.
Yeah.
Get me, and I'll fucking come back and tattoo you.
Sure.
Well, that wasn't sitting good with Crow. So Crow yanks that guy out of the fucking chair, yanks all his shit with him, has that guy, bring him back on the fucking plane, and Crow figures, you owe me some fucking money and shit.
Yeah.
So Crow takes the kid, buys a hotel room for the kid, sits him in there, gives him 5,000 needle bars, and makes him make 5,000 needles.
Hell
And Crow said, Crow would come by and give him a couple of meals a day. But he was just locked in this fucking room, breathing solder flux. His fingers are all fucking, ate up from fucking, the heat on making needles and shit like that, and all fucking solder flux and all that shit.
Right.
But he kept him in there till he make the 5,000 needle bars. And then, Crow's
square.
cool with the kid, and he's square, and the kid goes on its way.
Yeah, man.
And, so that's a little story about Crow.
So Malone was already building machines when you went out there?
Yeah, he was building liners, Relomatic liners.
And so you just started building alongside of him, or was he teaching you, or you guys just sort of going along?
Well, I knew a little bit about machines before that, from taking them apart, fucking with them, shit. All kinds of shit. Building them for other people, hanging out with Paul a little bit. And, Malone had been, building outliners since, I got an outliner from him when I was working for Moses. And, and that ran real good. And, that kind of changed things for me. Like using Paul's machines made a big difference, changed things for me a real lot. Yeah. And getting this liner from Malone, it really changed things for me too. And, so he was building liners and, I was building shaders, so we weren't stepping on each other's toes.
Gotcha.
And, not that he couldn't build a real good shader, or not that I couldn't build a good liner, but, that's just kind of how things went.
But if someone came to your shop looking for machines, it was one stop, right? You could get a liner and a shader.
Nobody had come by looking for machines. No, not in Hawaii. No.
Just because they knew Malone wasn't going to fuck with them, or how'd that work?
Just because, at that point in time, nobody was... coming by, wanting to buy machines, pretty much. I mean, not a lot of people.
There?
Yeah, there was when I went out there was 4 shops on the island.
Yeah. But you guys didn't all intermingle and.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But in general, I guess those people had their shit and y'all had your shit. It wasn't like there was an influx of tattooers coming.
Right. No.
You were tattooing sailors.
Yeah, we're tattooing sailors, local boys, mainly local boys and sailors.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So. What year did you start working for Malone? You went from working with Moses. I think you told me this last time. Then you went to a convention. Malone says, I'm looking for somebody.
Right. Mm-hmm.
I think we talked about it the first time.
Right. Then I moved out.
Then you moved out there.
That was 89.
Yeah, 89. Mm-hmm. Busy?
Yeah.
Busy
pretty much.
Just the two of you?
Just the two of us.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd work the evening shift. Malone would work I was working, actually, I'd get in there early. I'd get down to the shop. I think we opened at like 10 o'clock or something. Mm-hmm. Ran it probably from 10 to 10. And, at first when I went over there, I'd just be there all day. I'd get down there, 9 o'clock in the morning. Me and Malone, we'd mop the shop out and shit.
Just work the whole 12 hours?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
And Rollo would work till like maybe 3 in the afternoon. Then he'd go home, take a nap. Sometimes he'd come back, sometimes he wouldn't.
So he obviously has a bunch of iconic Flash and things like that. Was he doing his own shit? Was he drawing custom tattoos, or was it mostly just shit off the wall?
Both. Mm-hmm. Yeah, mostly stuff off the wall, but people would come to get bigger tattoos from him.
Looking for him?
Yep. Yeah.
Was he doing like backs and sleeves and big shit fairly often?
Not that much.
No, not that much.
I mean, there was just no real big call for it in Hawaii at that time.
Sure. So I guess locals weren't getting tattooed much at all?
Oh, no, locals were getting tattooed a real lot, especially at that shop. That was the place to go for local boys.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And again, just picking shit off the wall typically?
Yeah, picking shit off the wall. We used to do a lot of tribal stuff, like Hawaiian tribal stuff.
Like cultural bands. Type stuff. They would bring stuff in, or you all?
No, we were just kind of making it up.
Or kind of winging it.
Yeah, I mean,
it would look authentic, but you didn't know.
Yeah, right. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Well, it's just like top of pattern and like that. Like Malone had a little sheet up that had like a band on a guy, just an arm with a band and like a chest panel and shit.
Right.
All like, Polynesian looking stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
And, that's what we were doing on people. But a lot of bands.
Yeah.
Like we used to do, between the two of us, we do 6 or 7 bands every week.
Yeah.
She got real good at doing that.
What was the going rate back then?
For a band?
Or for tattoos in general?
Oh, shit. Well, when I left Mississippi, we had I think, $35 minimum. And I went out to Hawaii, where the cost of living is probably like more than double in Mississippi. And we had a $20 minimum.
Wow.
And for $20, we do a big script name.
Mm-hmm.
You do a script name that was like, I don't know. It didn't matter the size of it,
Yeah.
I mean, I do names that were like a foot long or something like that, where letters are like, 2.5 inches high, for $20.
Drives me crazy. Motherfuckers call a shop now and they go, how much for a name?
Right.
I don't know, motherfucker.
Yeah, what do you want?
Where you want to put? I mean, is
right.
it Sam or is it from Guadalupe? What the fuck you want?
Right.
Whenever people do that, I always say, how much does it cost?
Right, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, man.
I remember Candy, like before I got over there, she did a 56-letter name on some kid. Starting on
I guess
one
it was
arm,
like a Hawaiian
going,
name, huh?
yeah, Hawaiian name.
Yeah.
Yep, going on his arm, across his chest, down the other arm, or something like that. I tell you, man, tattoos are so fucking popular these days that, I go to the grocery store, the kid begging my fucking groceries got more visible tattoos on him than I do.
Right.
And, I think a lot of people now getting tattooed are people, well, I know a lot of them are people that would never have ever fucking got tattooed before in the past. And
Right.
I think maybe a lot of these people, maybe shouldn't be getting tattooed, and they're just doing it because it's a trendy fucking thing.
Well, it's socially accepted. It's socially accepted,
Mm-hmm.
and
Right.
also again, all those sports
When people say,
famous players and stuff. It's just
so when you see a woman with a certain haircut, there's a good likelihood that she walked into her salon and she showed them a magazine and said, I want this haircut.
Right, same
That's what
thing.
tattoos are. It's fashion nowadays. You see somebody wearing something you think is sharp, you want to buy that thing, that garment. If you see a celebrity or some sort of social media entity that has a lot of tattoos, like you said, soccer in Germany, like a lot of people get heavily tattooed. What's the European fella who was over here, David Beckham?
Yeah.
He was he probably did it first. Fucking at least sleeved. I think more than that, but people see that and they want to emulate it. I think it's tattoos, like you said, they probably wouldn't or shouldn't get tattooed, but they're doing it because it's fashionable.
Right. I also think it's interesting that, like, I guess. So thinking about it is like the more money you make, the more you can do whatever you want, and I think that's how these sports people kind of like are kind of rocking that whole style, or like musicians or whatever, But I feel like, like 30 years ago, the people that were going for that, I don't think they were that financially stable to really like
Or to be able to pull that off.
Right. Mm-hmm. But then again, you see all these 1930s pictures, of these like people that are not visibly covered, but their bodies are covered.
Mm-hmm.
They might have been like rich people or not, like who knows, but then again, they didn't do it on visible spots,
Yeah.
But it's like, I always think like I really think like that's still where the difference is clear, why people do it, if that is a fashion statement or is it a cultural statement, is it and at the end of the day, who gives a fuck, I guess, they can't, no matter how popular it becomes, my personal relationship to tattoos and tattooing doesn't change.
Right. No, plus the era and the times and the places you got tattooed. Even if every mall in America eventually has a tattoo shop in it,
It's getting that way.
It's getting that way. But that won't change the experiences that you had.
Right.
And that I had and that Scott had. Right. Those experiences hold their own and always will.
Yeah.
And then just like the tattoos, people can't take that from you. Even if they popularize it and I don't. But also, I don't fucking care. I don't give a fuck that everyone's getting tattooed. I own a tattoo shop. That's a good thing.
I hope you don't.
You know,
I would hope so.
I want people to get tattooed. You know what I mean? Even if even if it's, and still, if a girl comes in my shop, and I'm not always over there, but when I am over there, and I'm, can I help you? And I don't think about getting a flower. What kind of flowers do you like? Well, my grandmother had peonies in her yard. Well, then fucking that's a big deal for me because I got 30 peonies I want to show her right now. And I'm going to show her all these fucking peonies, and then I'm going to show them to her in context that she wasn't expecting. And then she might end up with a fucking half-sleeve chest panel peonies, or 2, or a sleeve. You know what I mean? So maybe she came in to get something little, or maybe just didn't know what kind of flower she wanted. And maybe she ends up getting... We all know that once people find common ground with the people in their tattoo shop that they choose to patronize, it leads to them getting heavily, or more tattooed at least, maybe not heavily tattooed. But as soon as they find out they have something in common with you, and they think you're cool already because you work in a fucking tattoo shop, then it just grows from there, Once they know the possibility. I love that about tattoos. When a chick comes in, she says she wants a flower, and she ends up with a Timothy Hoyer peony off the sheet of his flash. I'm like, fuck yeah, dude. As good as it gets. You mentioned Leo, and we'll go all over the place. We'll talk a lot about everything in the world. Yeah. But you mentioned Leo. I can't think of a tattooer that changed
tattooing
as much as Leo did. Mm-hmm. I mean, more fucking people have tribal tattoos than... I mean, there's a million people that have just tribal.
No shit.
And no other tattoos. They just got it for that. I mean, can you...
Oh, no, I think Leo's changed the face of tattooing
the impact
more
is
than
immeasurable.
Anybody in this business, just, especially like in, late 90s, early 2000s. I mean, fuck, man. Everybody was I was doing more tribal than anything else. Every other fucking tattoo I did was, some kind of tribal thing.
If he got $1 of every tribal tattoo he's ever done, he'd be a multi-billionaire.
Fucking shit. And all the fucking people that ripped off his designs. Companies, wallpaper, he was
everything everywhere.
That, they went in some, Diane was saying she went in some doctor's office. They got a fucking couch upholstered, with a big fucking tribal Leo design, Leo don't get no fucking money off of that. He ought to be the richest motherfucker in tattooing.
He really should be. And I hear he's the sweetest guy, too.
Oh, yeah, he's great.
You can say that, you can talk a lot about Jerry, Ed, and Malone's influence.
Mm-hmm. Right.
But Leo changed, within when I used to travel around selling body jewelry, guys like you and me aren't the only ones in this motherfucker. When I go to conventions and I see people with pompadours and girls in poodle skirts, I remember there's a lot of people within our industry who sort of stick to that, and then you see people that are like into the all black tattoos and like the heavy black crazy shit with dreads and septum piercings and shit. But there's also regular tattooers like people that they're not immersed in the culture, but people in tattooing in Tennessee and Kentucky and the South that are pretty much regular folks, and tribal changed the game for them. Like they made livings off of that in the fucking 90s.
No shit.
Big livings. It's just mind blowing.
I mean, Leo probably bought me a fucking house and a fucking car and
watch
everything.
It's just amazing. His impact is incredible.
Yeah.
He's doing the tour this year, right?
Yeah, he's on the tour.
That's cool, man.
Yeah.
That's real cool.
And and I always say this, that, when he was tattooing me, I know it's in the first 10 tattoos he ever did. I think it was like number 5.
Yeah.
But, when he was doing that on me, he said, man, I wish I could be doing this shit all the time, because he was just starting to do that kind of stuff. Well, he's just starting to tattoo and like that.
Sure.
And, he's sitting in Dean Dennis's shop just doing whatever, walked in off the wall and like that. And he says, man, I wish I could be doing this stuff all the time. And,
the travel stuff.
Yeah. And, little did he know at that time that, like 20 years later, everybody was going to be doing it. And, doing it so much, you're sitting there, fuck, another tribal thing. Another fucking tribal band.
Yeah.
And,
that's why my first tattoo was a tribal band, and I got it because...
I was going to ask if you had
the Red Hot Chili Peppers put out that album Blood Sugar Sex Magic, and the cover is tribal. When you open it up, their mouths are open and they got all this tribal shit coming out of their mouths, and I was just mesmerized by it. I was just fucking mesmerized. I was like, gotta get something like that. It's so fucking cool. And it was.
And when I was putting all that shit on, I was thinking, man, there's going to be a fucking time where everybody's going to want to cover that shit, and that's going to be so fucking hard to cover.
I see Andrew cover tribal half sleeves like it's like in his fucking sleep. It blows my mind. Somebody will come in with wide, thick fucking tribal, man, and they'll be like, "We'll put a dragon over that." And I'm like, "Where are you gonna put his face?" And then Connor, he's a wizard.
Right.
He figures it out. But not that many people, from my experience of just selling tattoos in a shop for 20 years, want to cover it. So a lot of times they want to blend it in, or they want to spruce it up,
do something around it, or
but it's come full circle already. It's like had a resurgence. It was cool for a minute, and then it kind of died out, and then the Goldberg tattoo, the wrestler, had the tribal thing on his upper arm, and that thing was wildly popular, and then that died down.
And
but
the
now,
rock cap and all that,
the Polynesian stuff,
pseudo-Polynesian looking stuff.
He definitely pushed that, to where more people get it, but people still come and get fucking full tribal sleeves.
Right. Yeah.
Like it's more common than a Japanese sleeve in our shop. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Probably is. I mean, people can kind of relate to that. It's like an American kind of tribal now. It's not.
Absolutely.
I mean, all that stuff is kind of like Leo, took it off of Borneo stuff and modified it and like that. But now it's like it's more of an American symbol almost.
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah. It's definitely, like I said, it I think he changed tattooing more than anybody too. I wasn't. You said it first, so now I'm on the follow. Yeah, but I mean, like I said, I think Jerry's influence might have been bigger. I think Ed's influence might have been bigger, but not to actually change the way what people are getting. Right. He fucking.
Well, Jerry, on account of he was championed by Hardy and Malone. I mean, he would just be a very small footnote in tattooing, and Jerry's, he's known now for doing all that, classic traditional stuff, but, I think his biggest impact, or what he changed in tattooing, was taking Japanese style tattooing and fusing it, kind of with American style images, and taking that, and...
Do you think it was the mainly American images with Japanese background?
Yeah.
Because to me that's...
And also just taking, that Japanese style and, bringing it over here and trying to do that stuff. I think, that was his main kind of thing that, was innovative. All that other stuff, I mean, you look at all that Lieber stuff, I don't know if you've seen a bunch of Brooklyn Joe Lieber stuff.
Fair amount, yeah.
Yeah, but all that stuff, it's all Jerry did was take that stuff and, redraw, and he didn't do it as good as Lieber did, I didn't think.
Yeah.
And I don't know, maybe some of those designs were him. I mean, they swap shit back and forth, but I think most of that stuff Lieber drew, and Jerry just redid it.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at his flash, and almost fucking 90% of that stuff Lieber had done before, and I would assume he did it before because, he was pre-Jerry.
I wonder where Jerry was. Was Jerry just seeing it on people?
Oh no, they used to swap fucking designs back and forth. Yeah, I got letters from, Lieber to Jerry with like drawings on it. So I think, I'm sure that's where all that came from, pretty much. And maybe Jerry was sending stuff that he drew to Lieber. I don't know.
Was when you were working in Hawaii, was Jerry's shit as exciting to you all back then as it became to everyone later? Like, or was it just shit that was around?
It was just stuff that was around. I wasn't doing that much. I mean, when I got over there was only one sheet of Jerry's hanging up in the shop, and it was hanging up there because there was that Rosa Hotel Street design on there, the old snaggletooth looking broad, and Malone had that up, and I think it was like $6 or $7, and he left it up there for that same price.
Yeah.
Nobody ever got it because it was so, kind of...
I
always wanted that design on me, but, now I ain't got any room for it.
Yeah.
I mean...
That's a good one, though.
Yeah.
But that was the only sheet that was up?
Only one of Jerry's sheets.
And so what was on the walls? All Malone shit?
Stuff, pretty much. Well, Malone
and it's a small
stuff,
space as
there was
well.
a couple of sheets, maybe a Terry Tweed, some of Candy's stuff, maybe a couple other people that came through, but that was what was on the walls. And then we had a flash rack, and there was like a little bit of Crow stuff, a little bit of Jack stuff in there, some Jeffrey stuff.
Yeah.
But on the walls, it was just basically Malone's. There was maybe a sheet or two of Lance's stuff up there.
So Malone just took all that shit down and just put it on ice, or did?
Oh, all the Jerry stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah, when he got the shop, it was all Jerry stuff. I mean, when Jerry died, it was just like, he walked out of the place, locked the door, and nobody else was in there.
Yeah.
When Malone, walked in there, and that was what was up, and I guess, Malone started, painting other stuff and putting it up, and then he just took all that flash and just stashed it away. I mean, I know at one time he had well over 130 sheets, I believe.
I'm just assuming you know this stuff. I'm just curious, but did Ed have a bunch of stuff that Jerry had gifted him, or did all the stuff that Ed released come from Malone's collection?
Oh, and all those books?
Yeah.
Almost all of that was stuff that was Malone's.
Yeah.
Malone, they took that stuff and they had this guy from the Honolulu Art Academy photograph all that stuff, and that's what went in that book. But Hardy, also has quite a few of Jerry's sheets. Some that he acquired from Kate, and, some that I guess he probably just got over the years. I don't know how much of that stuff he's got, but I know he's got a lot of it.
So do you feel like those early books that Ed put out are solely responsible for Jerry's popularity?
Oh, without a doubt.
They just spread like wildfire, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, Jerry would just be a very small footnote in tattooing him because he was championed by Hardy and Malone, and that's what that's how come when anybody comes in the shop, they want a Sailor Jerry tattoo, and a Sailor Jerry tattoo, to them ain't a Sailor Jerry tattoo. It's something with heavy line, bold color,
right.
black in it. I've just been going around doing these seminars, and that's why I've been traveling and shit. And that's been going real good for me.
Yeah.
And
how many do a year, you think?
Oh,
or do you just wait till they kind of like take them as they come?
Yeah, just take them as they come. Because I got to make. I have been making machines for all these things. I've been charging people a machine, and they get the seminar for free.
Right.
And just the last couple I did, I just been charging them. Just if they want to just take the seminar and no machine, charging them less money than a machine, and shit, that works out good because then I don't have to make the fucking machines. Yeah. But you were talking on here about with Shane, and Shane saying he didn't think that was such a good thing, me doing these seminars and shit.
Right.
But I'm just doing them to fucking tattooers, and I don't do them to non-tattooers, and I don't think a tattooer to know his equipment better. That's a good thing, I figure.
I mean,
and I've had people that have contacted me, wanting me to do this, do one of these seminars, and I look on their fucking Instagram, and they say, I'm looking for an apprenticeship. Well, shit, if you ain't tattooing, you don't need to know.
Right.
And I think, and I get a lot of people that are apprenticing, and, those are the ones I think, should know. And I get a real lot, everyone I've done, I've had at least a couple of machine builders in there that are doing it, either, pretty much for profit. They're selling machines and shit.
Sure.
And, hopefully they're picking up, I know they're picking up shit from it, which is good. I want everybody that's making machines to make the best they can, just like fucking tattoos, I
don't want to speak for you, but I feel like you kind of do things in the spirit of Paul Rogers, in that you're a really nice fucking guy.
Uh-huh.
And if someone shows you just the courtesy of being nice to you, then you'll help them.
Yeah, sure.
And you've been that way since long before I knew you.
Uh-huh.
I remember when Ed's shit started going on, all those clothes and stuff, and there was, so many people were talking shit, so many people were upset. And I was talking to Brian Bruno about it, and Brian's like, look, we can't stop that thing from happening. Mm-hmm. So if someone should get that money, it should be Ed.
Oh, yeah.
For what he's done.
Right.
There's so many people building and selling machines nowadays that I feel like you've put in enough work that if someone should be doing seminars and selling machines, it should be you. Mm-hmm. And also, let's be honest, Shane's my friend, but there's not that many situations that he's not complaining.
Right.
You know
Yeah.
So the fact that he's going to bitch about it a little bit, because he's done seminars. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Well, he's done seminars like on history of tattoo machines and stuff like that. And, and he kind of doesn't like doing that because then he educates people. And he was going to do a book on, tattoo machines. He decided not to do it because you're giving people a handbook on how to counterfeit them things. Kinda.
Right.
And, there's so many people that are counterfeiting them now. And, there was somebody, selling Paul's machines. I know a couple of real well-known tattooers that had bought machines that they thought were the real deal. And, unless you've seen a real lot of Paul's machines, and these guys are all copying them from fucking pictures they see on the internet or whatever.
Sure.
And, all of those machines have been modified, and not like Paul made them, so they're always getting something wrong.
Of course.
And so, if you really know those things and you've seen enough of them, you can tell, what's fake and what's not.
Right.
But,
Plus, it's easy to fuck up the trade as well, right? When they have the knowledge and they're buying something just to flip instead of which if you can't tell people to do with their own money, but
right.
If you put information out there and it gives people the knowledge to where they know what they're looking at, and like you got a guy like Trevor next door who's never going to sell anything. He doesn't purchase things to sell.
Right. Yeah.
So he's trying to get the best deal.
Right.
And then someone sees something, jumps on it, buys it, and then turns around and sells it for twice what they paid. Right. I think a lot of collectors feel like they're fucking up the trade of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, maybe.
But that's part of the game. I feel like that's also
kind of
part
sets
of
the price and like that when you can do that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But the thing that I don't like is people like counterfeiting shit because whether it's an old machine or something or Paul made, because then you're changing history. And when I do these things, they're fucking long and involved. I mean, it's like, pretty much 4 hours when I do these things. And I try to be real comprehensive. And, 90% of it goes over, most of these people's heads. And it's stuff that they don't need to know. And, probably, maybe they don't even fucking want to know it. But I just tell it to them because I try to tell people everything I know about tattoo machines. And then, get some machine builders in there and maybe 90% of it they already know. But that 10%, it's worth it to me if I can, pick up a trick, here or there. It's worth, whatever to me.
Do you do them? Do you have like a structured outline as to how you do them?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
I got like a little format that I kind of follow.
Did you write that from like the first time you started doing them, or did you develop that from doing?
Oh no, I develop it. I kind of change it every fucking time. As I kind of, I got it broken down now pretty good. But it gets all fucked up. I'll be talking about one thing that leads into another thing later on.
Yeah.
And it's hard to keep everything straight. The part that's easy for me to do, I got a like a couple hundred pictures on my computer of what I do to make a machine, to assemble a machine and like that. And, that's real easy because it's right there and I can explain, what I do, why I do it. And for me, that part's real easy to do. The rest of it, I go into a lot of theory on doing stuff and with machines, and it's all in my opinion. There's no right or wrong.
Sure.
And there's a lot of, there's so many people that build real good machines. So many people.
Yeah. It's huge. It's a big part of the business now.
Now it is, yeah.
Definitely.
But after Paul died, it was just me and Malone making custom machines, basically. Bob Shaw, Colonel Todd were making machines, but not, that much. We'd go to conventions with, 60, 80 machines, and we'd sell out every fucking time.
Good God.
What was the demand like for Paul?
Oh, for Paul?
Yeah.
Paul was always busy.
Because when Eric Fisher was here recently, and he said that Pete would buy 12 at a time.
Well, yeah, Pete had that one time that he came through. Paul, he bought everything Paul had.
Yeah, but was there that many people doing that? Was he just producing them and then selling them, or did he have like a waiting list and clients that, because I'm assuming that Pete bought so many because he had so many shops and so many tattooers under him.
Right. Well, and Peter knew that, that was a good investment, and Peter had the money.
Sure, yeah.
But, Paul, kind of like would have a waiting list most of the time. When I'd go down there and see him, usually he didn't have very many machines for sale, maybe just a couple, 2 or 3 or 4. Last time I went down there, he had like probably 30 machines.
Wow.
But of those 30 machines, there was a lot of people's names on them that had helped him. And, last time I was there, I was looking to buy maybe 4 machines for guys I was working with in Mississippi, and I went through all of his stuff, and there was not very few of those machines that were, squared away and right and everything. But
Yeah.
Paul was, he was getting older, and he was having, all these people come in and help him, and, I just felt like, the quality wasn't there like it had been in the past.
Right.
And just, I think that was because, so many people helping him, and also so much demand for him. And also, you get to be, Paul was like late 80s, and,
Yeah.
Your vision's not as good, your hands aren't as strong.
Just becomes a different ballgame.
Yeah.
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 How'd you meet up with these motherfuckers?
I went to, after I left there, when I left Sacramento, I went to Hawaii to work with Scott.
Yeah.
Not to work with me, but to
Well, I went to Hawaii, and that was my first choice, was to work with you.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
What year was that?
2000 and
2002, 2003,
probably something like that.
What shop?
South
Wando's.
Pacific, Wando's
Wando's
place.
shop. That was a treat, wasn't it?
What was the clientele like there?
Tourists, pretty much.
This is all pre-internet,
Sure.
Uh-huh,
so
yeah.
we just made our own rules. That was great. It was like a mixture between tourists and military.
That's what all tattooers
Yeah.
did before
Yeah,
internet,
it was
right?
great.
Before it
Well-
would give you a fucking review.
Well, you know what? We were there, and the internet was happening, but nobody had let us know yet.
right.
So
Yeah,
we
I
just
guess the internet
didn't.
was
We just
happening
didn't
early
know. We
2000s.
were late to everything, I think. But it was military people, payday weekends still were the deal, and tourists, and a lot of foreign tourists.
Busy.
It's busy.
Yeah.
Yeah, like crazy busy.
Shift work. The shop had 3 shifts.
But all street shop work, nothing complicated, straight off the walls.
Yeah, we
Pretty
didn't
much.
draw. We
Like
didn't draw
hand
pretty
size
much
would be like the
anything
biggest?
except lettering.
Biggest tattoo you did about hand size?
Well,
Yeah, I mean, we didn't. I probably did. I worked there 5-6 years, and I probably did a couple backs and a couple arms.
Yeah.
But
it
the
wasn't
people that lived there, you would tattoo multiple session tattoos on military guys because they'd be stationed there for like a year and a half or 2 years.
Right.
But the people that live in Hawaii that didn't have the money at the time to be getting big tattoos, especially not in a shop in Waikiki. You know, it's so
locals
expensive.
come to Waikiki
Yeah.
to get tattooed. No, fuck, man, it's expensive there. I mean, we're tattooed a lot of locals at China Sea. I mean, that was the most of our business, pretty much.
Well, the reason I went in that direction is I'm assuming if your clientele is military and tourist, you don't get a ton of repeat. You do more from military, because,
Military,
like I said,
yeah.
if they're going to be there a year, they might ask for you every time, or they might say, "Hey, man, can I get a sleeve or can I get this big thing?" But overall, if that's not you're not tattooing people that are always around. We've been tattooing some of the same people in this building for 20 years. Some of them just been coming the whole time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, whole families as well.
Yeah, generations.
Yeah, we didn't get none of that. Zero. Absolutely nothing. I mean, you couldn't remember people's names. A few people, though. I mean,
Yeah, a few.
there's a few.
Like that kid that
Like I was
did
just,
the pen.
yeah. I mean, Scott did 2 really nice tattoos on this guy, 20 years ago, and I ran into him the other day, and he's still living in the same neighborhood, but
Yeah.
that's very rare.
How the
You
tattoos
don't
look
see.
now?
Good.
Yeah.
Did it?
That's awesome.
Yeah. Well, that kid's white as a ghost. He even
Yeah.
probably never got that in the sun.
Living in Hawaii.
Well, no, this kid just never. He works a real straight job, but now he can have them tattoos out at the. He works at Tiffany's. He's a fucking manager at Tiffany's, and it's cool for him to have tattoos.
No lies, just bullshit.